Hey guys, and welcome back to Agrarian Skies. As promised, I did a bunch of sieving through sand. I'm actually going to switch to gravel now because I want some diamonds. I only have one diamond left, and that's not very much. And I got two of these ancient spores, so I went ahead and used one of them already. You do have a fairly low chance of getting them, but I got quite lucky, so I think it took maybe half a stack of sand or so, really not very much, and I got two of the ancient spores. And if you use ancient spores on a block of dirt, it turns into a block of mycelium, and then the mycelium of course spreads out as it does in standard vanilla Minecraft. Now the reason I wanted a barrel of water here is because this isn't water anymore. So water in a barrel, standing on top of mycelium, or close to mycelium, doesn't have to be on top of, I think it's just sort of, if there's mycelium around it anyway, it turns into this stuff called witch water. Now by itself we could take this out in a bucket and place it in the world. Mycelium, no, witch water. Witch water is kind of nasty. It gives you a wither and a blindness and nausea effect or something along those lines. I know it gives you blindness and wither, I don't know what else it does, but it's really painful to step into basically. Now, there's no risk of it harming me while it's in the barrel, nothing can happen basically. It has a profound effect on any mob it touches, so if it touches a zombie, I think it turns into a zombie villager. If it touches a creeper, it turns into a charged creeper. If it touches a skeleton, it turns into a wither skeleton. If it touches an enderman, the enderman teleports away, so it's just like normal water in that respect. But it has another few profound properties that are very useful to me. Firstly, if I have witch water and I put sand in it, I get soul sand. And I need a lot of that, so I will do the same thing I did with the clay, which I actually need to show you something about that as well. And as the bucket is, or as the barrel is turning the water into witch water, you can see there was a progress being displayed, it makes mushrooms grow. So we got a red and a brown one. Right now I'm not really taking advantage of that. I'm just sort of making soul sand, and as it turns into witch water, eventually mushrooms will grow here. There's another one. Later on, much later, when I automate the process of making soul sand, because I need to, I'll show you that quickly. You can sieve it to get nether wart, gas tears, and nether quartz, which are fairly important. The rest of this not so much, maybe the crushed ores, but the reason I will end up sifting this pretty much non-stop in later stages is because of the nether quartz. That's really the only thing I need in large amounts. Which is because firstly you can make quartz stuff from it. You can make nice building blocks, you can make these fluix crystals out of it, which are required for applied energistics. Nether quartz dust has its uses for that as well. So I think no, there's more stuff here. Turbine housing, not so relevant, but still. Solar generators, so expensive, so useless, I hate them. Kind of will need some of these, but later. This again is another important use, conversion matrices. You need a ton of those for your applied energistics computer system, so I need a lot of nether quartz for that as well. L-various stabilizers, never used those, never used any of this stuff really. Shrouded pressure plates, interesting. Anyway, I will need a lot of it, so what I'll do is, wait for it to turn to witch water, then put in my my sand, making soul sand, end up sieving it. When I automate the process, I will also have certain block breaking devices here, which will basically, whenever a mushroom spawns, they'll harvest it. I don't have those yet because it's kind of pointless and I don't need mushrooms really. Later on there's stuff which requires them, but not really at the moment. Now I have a lot of space, which means I can do this. I have a stack of clay, 4 stacks of sand, and 4 stacks of gravel, which gives me 8 stacks of grout. And I will end up smelting these. Now, there is a bit of an issue. I might end up going to the Nether sooner than I expected, but it will most likely be at least something of a suicide mission, because the Nether is a pain in this mod pack. It's been severely changed. The world generation is the same as normal, but there's sort of silverfish-like things, except they are much more numerous and much more painful. There's new mobs. The zombie pigmen have been... They have a chance of spawning as sort of improved versions, having 5 times as much health, throwing fireballs. They are massively annoying. And whenever you harvest any kind of ore from the Nether, it has a chance of exploding. So nasty place, not really a place you want to hang out for a long time. But I think I need... What do I need? I need a crucible, a magma crucible. And for that I need nether brick. And I need this to smelt items, to melt down items, basically. And the items that I will end up needing to melt in larger quantities are glowstone and redstone, and later on ender pearls. Because the liquids I get from those are used for certain crafting recipes. And as you can see, to make this I need nether brick. And to make nether brick I need an induction smelter. I think that one's doable. But I need at least 4 netherrack. At least 8 netherrack, actually, to make 4 nether... No, actually, I only need 4 netherrack, because that's... Yeah, I need 4 netherrack. And netherrack, I believe you make by putting lava in a stone barrel. And then adding redstone. So I need 4 buckets of lava. Which actually, now that I think about it, doesn't sound so bad, so... Had my worries about that, but we should probably be fine there. Okay, I'll cut here, and I'll probably make all those things, or at least prepare all those things. And I also need a little bit more clay, because I want a redstone furnace. Redstone furnace is right here. And that just requires bricks, which are, well, that's just your normal bricks. You just make clay, basically. So that's just water and sand, water and dust. I should have dust left over here, actually, yeah. So that's not an issue. I can do that just fine. And I guess I'll do that all, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye bye. Hey guys, and I'm back. I keep thinking that I I usually cut at the end of an episode. But for this series, for obvious reasons, I cut in between episodes as well, so my introduction to a new section of the episode, it's kind of superfluous, because there's not actually a break in between. You just get me saying, I'll be gone, and then the next second you get me saying, I'm back. I'll try to cut down on that. I'm not very experienced with that sort of affair. Nope. Got an emerald now as well, and 2 diamonds. This is just going away happily. I didn't really leave it running that long. These 2 are just smelting away at the ground. Almost done with this, actually. But there's stuff to craft. Lots of stuff to craft, in fact. So don't be too confused by all these things. It's not really anything complex. First things first, though, I want to make 4 stone barrels. And, well, since I have the buckets anyway, I might as well use them. I mean, most of these buckets will be used for crafting things. But at this point, might as well do that. And that. Okay. Don't forget to drink. Don't know why I said it in that weird voice. And another 4 cobblestone to reinsert into my crucible. Which for some reason, remember how it was 1 millibucket short? After putting in more, suddenly it had 1 millibucket too much. I don't know what the heck it's doing, really. This grout, I probably made far more than I need, but I just wanted to be on the safe side. Now I need 4 pieces of redstone to do this. Ta-da! That's what I wanted, needed, whatever. Now the next thing I need is actually an an induction smelter, and I should have all the stuff I need. Good. And I'll just plop that down right about here. This is temporary, and I say that so much these days, but it's just because that's the way it is. I also automated this thing, same as that barrel there. I didn't want to do that anymore. So much right-clicking, waiting for which water to form. It wasn't fun. Now I think what I need to put in here is this, and that should give me 2 of the nether bricks. That's exactly what I needed. And that's just the non-nether method for making netherrack. Okay, that one's happily transforming away. Now I wanted to make a redstone furnace. That's we'll get to that. Now I don't actually. I mean, most of these recipes are fairly similar, so I think the main difference... That's the magma crucible, exactly, that's what I wanted. And then one of them is like that. That's the fluid transposer, exactly. Okay, very nice. And all of these machines do have their purpose for me. However, I think I'm pretty much out of wire, so... I need to check where did I put my pneumatic servos. And this way I can avoid, I can just tell this thing to ignore its redstone, which means that lever here does nothing anymore. Which means bye-bye lever. Same for these two. And I can now just, with an empty hand, if I right-click these things, I have options to configure how these things work, basically, and make the item ducts, for example, work without using any levers on them. Now the redstone furnace, there isn't really much about it. No, I don't want you connecting, thank you. Okay, it's charging up, that's good. This thing, I believe if everything's running, it's not going to be able to keep up. But at this point, okay, it's done. Yeah. Currently only one of these pulverizers is actually doing anything, so that's just fine. And only one of these ender generators actually has anything in it. I have ender pearls, I'm not out of them or anything, I just don't need more power at the moment. And by the way, if I shift and left click on this, it disables all the different sides of the machine, so now it's in full manual mode, nothing is automated, and that's kind of the way I want it. And they are faster than normal furnaces and don't require fuel. Well, they don't require coal, that kind of fuel. They of course still do require energy. So I just... But yeah, basically it's an electric furnace, it runs off the RFs instead of running off coal. Anything non-renewable, really. Well, you get what I'm saying. I'm not making my point very well here. I mean, it is technically renewable. Now, I want none of your faces to do anything either. And a magma crucible will go right next to you. Don't want anything here either. And similarly, I don't want any of your faces to do anything. Now, the magma crucible takes a lot of RFs. As you can see, it takes actually 20% of a full hardened energy cell. And that is used to, as I've explained before, it melts down items that... it melts down stuff into fluid, basically. So I could put in cobblestone to make it into lava. And actually, the crucible takes 4 cobblestone to make a bucket. This takes 1 cobblestone to make a bucket. But that one does it for free, essentially. It just takes a long time. But I just put in the cobblestone and do other stuff, and when I come back there's a bucket of lava. This one requires power, which I mean, I have a decent supply using these 2 generators, but I'm not 100% yet. Yeah, I don't want that. So this one, yeah, as you can see, as we're going through, it'll just keep sieving the gravel. And actually, oh, just got another diamond, very nice. What I can do is I can put another autonomous activator down, and also make it face the sieve. And that way I will have two activators activating the same sieve. It's like this thing I do where I help it along by also right-clicking. And the more of these activators I attach to the sieve, the faster it goes, basically. I mean, at this point it can't keep up with the pulverizer, this one. If I add enough of them, it is able to keep up with the speed of a pulverizer. Anyway, this thing is now fully charged, that's very good, and I want its output to go to the right, so this. And that's whatever liquid I create with it. And I want the input of this machine to be on the left. There we go. That's the way I need it. And this one makes the liquid, and this one is used to move the liquid into containers, basically. And this is just the simplest way to set them up, because the way I use them, at least, they are pretty much always used in conjunction. So I always use both of them together, basically. Now, there's one thing I kind of want to do with these, but I'm not certain it's quite the time yet. Essentially, the best energy transfer things, the best conduits, and the best item ducts, they both require these devices. But I'm actually not doing so well on redstone. I have about half a stack. I do have a lot of glowstone, so I guess I can show that. And I think 5 item ducts, that should be the ratio. So I put in the glowstone in here. It's actually quite quick. And don't be concerned that the glowstone is on top of the meter, when everything else, all other liquids will fill up from the bottom. That's not a glitch. Kind of as a gimmick, the way the glowstone works is, if I put that into a bucket quickly, the bucket is upside down as well. And I hope this won't crash, but it should be okay. The liquid, which I have to pick up because otherwise it'll fly up and things will go very messy. We don't want that. But the liquid goes up as well instead of down, so that's why it's all upside down, even inside the machines. I actually find that's quite a cool gimmick. However, I now just want to put this back in here because I needed to fill these item ducts, and I believe 200 millibuckets each will fill an item duct, yeah. And these will turn them into impulse item ducts, and they are just much, much faster. I don't really need them here, though. I actually don't need them anywhere. That's just kind of to show you how that works, and each glowstone gives 250 millibuckets of liquid glowstone. I think energized glowstone it's called. And each item duct requires 200 of those 200 millibuckets to fill up. So 4 glowstone fill 5 item ducts. The recipe to make item ducts gives you 6, so it's just kind of all a bit of a mess. You need 24 glowstones and 30 impulse item ducts to make the recipes all work out. It's not complicated, but kind of lame. This one's already done. As I explained, this one works faster than a normal furnace. You see these two, they started earlier and they're not yet done. I don't need these barrels here anymore. Unless I need to make more netherrack, but I doubt it. At least I don't have any immediate plans. There is also something you can do if you put in lava and you add glowstone dust, then that will give you endstone. And I might need to do that as well, because getting to the end, I think it's possible, but I don't know how. And it's probably going to end up being more complicated than going to the nether, which we can just do by building a portal and lighting it, just like in vanilla. I wanted to just quickly check what redstone... No, wait, they're not called that. There we go. They are called redstone energy conduits. Okay, they are called redstone. I just did see them. That was smart of me. And I make these in a fluid transposer as well. 200 millibuckets of destabilized redstone, which is 2 redstone dust molten down. And to make the empty conduits, I need hardened glass and electrum. These are fairly expensive. The hardened glass requires pulverized obsidian and lead. And obsidian, I don't have much of it at the moment. I can make it, but I don't have a steady source of lava yet. So I think it's a little bit of a quest time now. Because that's what I made all that stuff for anyway. Oh, I finished the Fungus Among Us quest actually. And I happen to know that I want the sword. Yeah, got the soul sand after all. Completely forgot that quest actually. Okay, for this one I need to see a tanks, controller, drain. Okay, that should all be fairly simple. The reason I want this sword is because it has silk touch on it. And I don't need to disenchant it to get the silk touch effect. If I use that wood sword now to break a glass, well, it would work on glass as well. But if I use it to break a grass block, I will get a grass block instead of just a dirt block. So, kind of nice to have, I guess. Don't really need the induction smelter for very much, except it's sort of something I can use. I guess I might as well put it down. It doesn't use any energy if I'm not using it, basically. And I can put in, for example, iron and nickel to make Invar directly without having to grind it down, pulverize it, combine it into a blend, and then smelting it again. I can just put the materials in here. Okay, and while these guys are full, they're not actually a drain on my energy, so that's nice. And you're doing just fine. Now, I need a seared tank, which I believe I need glass for that as well. I have some here. And you're done, so you get more grout. Okay, this is the controller which we need, and that gives me a book as well. And if I put glass in the middle, that should give me a tank. And I actually want two... No, actually, I don't want 2 of those. I don't know why I started... When I started with this mod, I always made 2 of these, but quite frankly, I never ever used both of them. Smeltery drain, is that... I don't know what how the smeltery drain works anymore. I know this is the casting basin, which we need. Maybe not for the quest, but we definitely need it. That's the casting table. And that's the seared faucet. And now I need the smeltery drain and seared bricks. Seared bricks are easy enough. They're just normal brick. And again, I apologize for my loud keyboard. The drain is... okay. So just this. And I will need a lot more of these actually, but this is just to complete the quest, because I want to get this out the way. And then I'll actually build the remaining ingredients I need and build a platform in between episodes. But now I definitely want the slimy sapling. Peach saplings, I can get those easy. Reward bag, obviously contents could be really good or they could be crap. And a full heart I don't really need, so slimy saplings. And if you do this quest, if you're at this point, I would urge you to take the slimy sapling, because getting slime otherwise is a bit of a hassle. You'd have to find slime chunks, for example, and it's all very not fun. So just take the slimy sapling. Anything you get from this reward bag, you can get from others as well. Hearts are not an issue. And peach saplings, I'll show you eventually how to get tons of those. Yes, I would like to claim the reward, but I can't because my inventory is too full. Okay. I'll just deposit that in here. And are you still grouting away? You are not, so take the last of my grout. Making 8 stacks of that was complete overkill. Yeah, so now I should be... Yes, I can sleep, that's very nice. Slimy sapling. Very good. And I get all these sort of nice looking things, which are pointless. I won't end up using any of these. Okay. Now let's look at... Oh! I actually have this quest done as well. That's nice. I'm not exactly going in order of the quests, I'm going in order of the way it seems most useful to me. So, yeah, that sort of thing happens where I finish a quest instantly, because I've done it before finishing a prerequisite quest. And, oh look! Talking about peach saplings, I don't need those. I couldn't put them down, obviously, if I had dirt. They grow into trees which have fruit hanging on them. The fruit eventually ripen, and I can keep picking the fruit, and that gives me a steady source of peach, which again, food stuff, but eventually I'll get into the luxury food items, and I'll only be eating like full meals and become very fat from that. But wow, actually, definitely the end of the episode now. But right now, carrot juice, way raise up, whatever. I don't know the pirate thing anymore. So yeah, for next time I will prepare a platform for the Tinker's Construct stuff. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.